와이. 그만! 방금 형제들은 돌을 넘어 파일럿과 마음을 통하지 못하는 또봇은 평범한 로봇일 뿐 상황과는 거리가 멀게 되는 것이다.
Watcha, yeah, time for another KTRT review. Yes, more recently I've picked up a couple of products from Young Toys. Yes, they started out the old Tobot series and Biclons, and I've decided, because obviously Hello Carbots has been going off the boil more recently and I've not been interested in picking up too much from that line, I'm looking at getting KTRT bots from other lines, and decided to go back. I've basically completed the Biclon series, and I've still got to review that Thunder Guardian and obviously ipso facto Barbarian King. But today we're going to talk about Tobots. Now, Tobots is probably one of the biggest robot toy franchises in Korea. It's been going for many years. They've had dozens of toys, and the TV series ran for, what was it, 19 seasons? Their idea of a season is different to what it is in the West, but needless to say, obviously throughout the seasons they've introduced new characters, and they introduced a new character called Tobot Z in, I think it was season 6 or 7. Anyway, things moved along. And then in season 8, episode 16, something massive happened. And I'm a huge fan of that episode. And you saw the clip at the beginning of this video, and that was part of what happened in that episode. Basically, you had Tobot X and Y facing off against Tobot W and Tobot Z. Now, until recently I hadn't got Tobot Z, and I'd been after it because the original Tobot Z, which is the design of Tobot that was in this particular episode, got superseded by what was referred to as Adventure Z, where he got a new robot mode, similar sort of vehicle but new robot mode, and that, the Adventure Z, is the toy that you see more often on sale on eBay and other places, and it's also a popular toy that quite a few Western reviewers have reviewed. Vangelis has done a review of Adventure Z, for instance. It's one of the few KTRT bots that he's actually done a review on. But I didn't want that version. I wanted the original Z, and the original Z, because it was one of the earlier figures that came out with one of the early waves, it's sold out virtually everywhere you go, and you just can't get hold of it. And when you do see one come up for sale, people are asking ridiculous amounts of money for it. So now this toy also more recently, Young Toys has got an agreement with Silverlit in Europe, and they've been releasing Tobots in France. They've dubbed episodes of the show into French, and the series got a release in France, and as a result of which, certain figures got reissued under the Silverlit brand in Europe. And again, they've been asking stupid money for them, especially Tobot Z. But I just so happened to look on Amazon, and Amazon can be a weird place to buy robots from because the prices are all over the shop. I mean, you see people asking hundreds of pounds for like a deluxe figure on Amazon. It's like, what are you on? But just so happened, I went on there one night a couple of weeks ago, and I put it in on my phone, put in Tobots on Amazon, and the first thing that came up was Tobot Z. And here is a Tobot Original Z in his car mode, and it's a very, as you can see, very shiny red SUV. It's actually based on the 2011 model year Kia Sportage, and it's got a nice grille with a Kia badge, And then you've got, you know, painted wheels. It's got moulded detail. You've got this moulding line in the side of the bodywork. It's got door handles. It's got mirrors. It's got a sunroof, roof bars, and then it's got transparent red lenses in the back, and all that good stuff. Obviously, proportions-wise, compared to the real vehicle, it's been slightly squashed and chubbified to make it to make it into a toy. And it's not actually a scale model of a Kia Sportage, unlike Carbots, who do realistic scale models of real-world vehicles. Tobots did licensed vehicles which were an approximation of the real-world vehicle when they were transferred into their vehicle mode. Obviously, this is his. It's a panel former. It's actually horrendous panel former, because actually transforming this thing from robot back to car is a nightmare. But it's not so bad going from car to robot. Hence the reason why I've started in the alt mode. Like I said, you know, it's got a nice typical Korean shiny plastic. There's a few sort of panel gap issues on the front here, especially there and there. You can see the panels don't quite squeeze in properly. But apart from that, it's not too bad. Obviously underneath, you can see bits of the robot. You can see his feet and a bit of his sort of waist, and then the chest is up here. But you know, it's big, it's heavy, it rolls very well. It's got large pinned wheels which do spin extremely well, and it's a big chunky carbot, even though it's a Tobot. So now, one thing I will say, now this is the Silverlit version. This is the French version. Obviously, I've got the box here, and you can see once it's got English writing on it. It quite clearly says Silverlit there, robot 2 and 1. Obviously, because it's the French one, it's got French there. Mode robot, transformation, mode voiture or car mode, young toys, and then you've got the kid who's his character. Now, in the West, he's referred to as Dylan, but his Korean name is Simo. And then you've got, you know, Tobot Y, and then it's got the kind of plain looking box, especially when you compare it to one of the Korean boxes. Now I've got Evolution X's box here, and as you can see, it's got lots of Korean writing on it. It's got all this stuff down here, Tobot animation. Then it's got like one of those you know, QT codes where you have to scan it and it sends you to the YouTube page where you can watch the episodes. And then as you can see, they've got a lot more going on, the Korean boxes. Now this, obviously I've got the European, the Silverlit version, and there are some differences. Personally, I think the build quality is not quite so good on this guy as the Korean originals. According to the box, it's made in, is it Indonesia? I think it was made in Indonesia. But anyway, obviously one of the QC issues is panel lines don't quite meet up there. Also, the grille on this, it's painted silver. On the original one, it's chrome silver. And I can't remember whether the wheels were chrome wheels or silver wheels. Anyway, there's a few minor issues or differences with this one compared to the original one. But anyway, let's get into transformation now. Before we go any further, he does come with the watch and these little paper cardboard disky things. Now the watch, let's put it on. I can just about, it's kind of small, but I can just about get it on my wrist. In the show, he uses this as a communicator. You know, it's got a little flip up flap. Now these discs, you look at them and you think, well, maybe they would fit in here, but sadly they don't. They're oversized, they don't fit in, which is a bit of an oversight. Now I think these are designed to work with the bigger wrist mounted communicators or, you know, activators that came with the other characters like X and Y, and they have a slot for, you can put these cards in where you can press buttons and make noises, and I think it's got a round bit at the top where you can put these things in. So I think he came with these extra discs for use with that accessory, but not this one. Now the other thing about this is it's got his tow key hidden inside, so you can just pull that out, and there's his tow key. Now in Tobots, obviously the tow key is what unlocks a transformation on the car. The little kid pulls it out, brandishes it up in the air, and goes, you know, Tobot Z transformation. And then on Tobot Z, he's got a little slot in the front of his bumper where the key plugs in, and when you press it, you see it unlocks the transformation. It releases the hood of the vehicle, and then you can start transforming it. Now this thing is a bit of a mare to transform. I'll try my best. So you can open the doors on it, but we'll start pulling it apart. You can open the doors in vehicle mode. Then you start unpegging the thing. And pull the arms out. Now I will say, when you transform this the other way, there is a little clip there and a little clip on the door, and you have to peg them in, and it's an absolute bugger to do that. So we pull them apart. Now we've got the waist and that, so we'll bring, actually no, we need to unhook the windscreen from the top there, and then you pull this back piece out, flip it round, and then fold it up, and then you pull out the legs, and you have the heel spurs, which you bring round, unpeg the legs, and then you get this, fold it round, clip it in, straighten the legs, and then there's that little backpack, little waist thing that clips into place. Now the arms, you can sort of bring them back, then you bring the hood around, then you have these little side bits here which fold up when you get the clearance. And there we go. And then you can bring the shoulders forward. So you fold that bit up and bring the shoulder forward. Oh yeah, the wheels, you sort of bring them into his waist. The bonnet folds up double. Well, actually no, you bring his head up and just fold that down his back, and then we is pretty much done. Bit of a messy transformation, to be honest. It's got some awkward bits on it and clearance issues, but there he is, Tobot Z in robot mode. You've got these bits here which don't really clip into anything, and he's a big bot, obviously, because they're all like leader class. Obviously I haven't got anything really I can do a size comparison with. I'll tell you what, if I can get him off the shelf without knocking anything else over. Here he is next to Universe Onslaught. So as you can see, he's a big bot. Leader class size, which is typical for a carbot or a Tobot. Very brightly coloured. It's got obviously the red. It's got some white. It's got some grey bits. black trim and a bit of blue around here. And yeah, he's, I don't know whether that's supposed to go like that, but yeah. I've noticed on the CGI model, the CGI model's got more blue on it. It's got like a slightly darker shade of blue up here. These bits here are supposed to be blue. The tops of his thighs are supposed to be grey. He's supposed to have blue bits on his shoes. There's a few little paint apps that they've missed out. Also, the build quality on this isn't, I don't think it's that great. I noticed there was some dodgy flash moulding on the bottom of his shoes, and these grey pieces, this grey plastic that they've used on his ankles, it's kind of soft and squidgy, not very good, and I assume the rest of the grey plastic's like that. Kind of kibbly. Obviously on the backpack you've got the roof section. It does kind of sit out the way a bit of his legs, but it does hamper the rearward articulation of his legs. Obviously the bonnet and the windscreen of the car is on his panel at the back, which kind of clips into place. He's got I meant to bring them up. He's got doors on his shoulders and his on his arms, and his hands are hidden behind the wheels. One thing I want to note, these sort of door, well, arm sections, on another show, the Biklons, you had from seasons 1 to 4, you get the elder brother of the siblings, Leo, takes a part-time job where he's manufacturing toy parts, and if you look closely, the toy parts that he's manufacturing is actually arms for Tobot Z. So throughout numerous episodes from seasons 1 to 4, when they're sat around the table eating or talking, Leo is there screwing these bits together to make spare parts for Tobot Z, which I think is quite cool. It was kind of like a tie-in between Tobots and Biklons. But yeah, so robot mode. Now, Tobots, Carbots, KTRT bots in general, not the greatest of articulation on them. They don't have the intermediate articulation which we take for granted on Transformers toys. You know, like waist joints, thigh swivels, bicep swivels, that sort of thing. But this guy, considering he's one of the earlier Tobot toys, he's actually decently articulated. His head is on a ball joint. It's not clipped up properly. There we go. So it will go all the way round. There's a little bit of a waggle, a little bit of up and down. Also, I will notice one of the I wouldn't say QC issues, but one of the differences between this and the proper Korean version is, you see he's got this gold paint on the Z on the side of his helmet. That's chrome gold on the Korean version. It's the same with this badge on his waist here. That's gold chrome. So he's got a decent amount of articulation on the head. I mean, there's so many Tobots, Carbots where they've got fixed heads, so that's a bonus. Now the shoulders, he has got a shoulder joint that goes all the way around. The arm goes out to there and down to there. Does have an elbow, or does have elbows that go to 90 degrees. And he's actually got a waist joint. And it isn't part of the transformation, it's actually a proper waist joint, which is unusual because waist joints, you hardly get them on KTRT bots. Just to prove a point, you can probably see in the background, obviously I've got these guys. I mean, just to prove a point, here's Tobot Evolution X, no waist joints. He hasn't even got any joints on his shoulders, no shoulder joints at all. He's just got a double jointed elbow, and that's it. Nothing on his shoulders. no bicep swivels, no waist. Knee joint that doesn't really go 90 degrees. Yeah. Then you got Tobot W. He's quite, again, no waist joint. He has got shoulders, elbows, no bicep swivels, no thigh swivels, fixed feet. It's just how things go, really. So moving on with Tobot Z's articulation, hips. No, they go out that far. They go forwards that far. They only come back so far because of this, this skirt he's got hanging off the back. No thigh swivels, and the feet has got a bit of movement on the ankle forwards and backwards, but no tilt. So he's not bad, decently articulated. He can be a bit of a problem to get him to stand up in any meaningful, sort of dynamic poses. But for a Tobot, he's not that bad. Really not that bad. Like I said, there are a few minor QC issues on this one, and I reckon that's down to the fact that it's the Silverlit version rather than the proper Young Toys one. But I'm glad I got him. And obviously the reason I got him was so I could do this. So I can have these guys facing off against each other like they did in episode 16 of season 8. Absolutely love that episode. X and Y facing off against W and Z. Brilliant episode, and well worth watching. You ought to seek it out if you get the chance. I might even put a link to it down below on the video. But yeah, so Tobot Z, he's all right. Kind of hard to get hold of in this day and age because obviously he's out of production, has been for a couple of years. When you do see him on sale, people are asking. I mean, the price I usually pay for toys like this is about 40-45 quid, and I've seen this guy going for like 90 quid, and it's like, no way am I paying that much. He isn't worth that. No, 40, 45, 50 quid is what I'd expect to pay for a Korean bot of this size. But luckily I managed to get one. Found a guy on a seller on Amazon that was doing them at a reasonable price, and got lucky. Even though it's the Silverlit version rather than the Young Toys version. But hey ho, it is what it is. Glad I got him. He's a big bot, decently articulated for a Tobot. Yeah, it's alright. He's pretty good. So that's been my review of this guy. And that's been it for me for today. Just to say a quick word to say that I will be going to the Transformers and Such meetup in Birmingham tomorrow, so I will see you there. And yeah, that's all I've got to say. I've been TFR Wilderness. This has been my latest KTR2 review. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you all next time. Ta-da.